Hello and welcome to the show. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Racecraft Techdemo. This is a rather fascinating racing game with one incredibly cool main feature. That is that all of the tracks are randomly generated. So this track I've never driven around before. I've just loaded the game up and it has randomly generated me a racetrack. I've played around a fair bit with this game and it's come up with some really very cool tracks to go racing around. I mean, we've seen, you know, your RPGs and that kind of games with randomly generated levels and so on. Never have we seen a racing game with randomly generated tracks. Certainly I haven't played one. There may be an obscure one somewhere, but certainly I haven't heard of racing games with completely randomly generated tracks. This is a really cool, exciting feature, certainly to me, because it means you've got endless replayability, because it's constantly going to be giving you new challenges, new types of tracks. I mean, it makes for online play incredibly exciting. This turn one here is horrible, I've just seen. It's like the Oschersleben turn one, almost. Not quite. You've got a huge straight, not quite as bad. I actually thought it was going to be a bit narrower than it was. Has a really interesting turn one. Right, get around this next corner. Now we've got like a nice flat out section. Yeah, I love the idea of it's just endless replayability, especially when it comes to things like multiplayer, because it means not only have you got to be good at driving the cars, you've got to be good at learning the tracks. You've got to learn a track quickly, because you might only get 5 laps with a certain track, and then right, it's on to the next challenge. I love that as a concept for a racing game. I think that's fantastic. I also did absolutely abysmally through that little section. This is an interesting circuit. We go from these really fast corners to these sudden little tight nasty buggers. So yeah, you really got to try and wrap your brain around these tracks as quickly as possible. Okay, I don't quite know how much speed we can take through here. I mean, you can go from you saw that narrow section early on. Now we've got miles of runoff for when things go a little bit wrong. And as I say, we've got miles of runoff. I'm putting my wheel on the dirt for no real good reason. Let's get turned in around here. That's okay. And then we're back up towards this final section. There we go. Oh, let's not run too wide through there. That was pushing our luck ever so slightly. Oh, I've done a stupid thing. I thought I could get away with carrying a bit more speed than I could through there. That's very bumpy on the curb. Yeah, these randomly generated tracks are great, and I haven't actually really come across a particularly bad one. All of the tracks that it's come up with have been perfectly raceable. I did find one in the first few sort of tracks that it came up for me that had a ridiculously steep hill that sent these cars quite airborne across it. But the rest of them have been, you know, kind of sensible racing tracks to drive around. So yeah, I mean, for a tech demo, the kind of tracks that this thing come up with are really very good. This bit is a real arsey section when you go from these wide open fast areas, and now suddenly we're on a street circuit between here, and then it opens up a little bit through there ever so briefly, and then we're back into this technical section. This is not a personal favourite track of mine. Driving around this one, it's not quite my sort of track. It's almost too stop-start for my personal tastes. I much prefer sort of fast-flowing short circuits than this kind of track. But I love the challenge of, you know, you've never driven this track before, you probably won't ever drive it again. Learn it quickly and try and get a good lap time out of the cars. The cars themselves are sort of single-seater Formula 1-esque cars, really around Formula 1 performance. They are good fun to drive. It's an arcadey handling system on these cars. Oh, I've done it. I got a rear wheel on the gravel trap and it pinged it off the road. There's, you know, plenty of grip in these cars. They're relatively easy things to learn to drive. However, I think it's a nice handling system. It's not it's not sort of incredibly simplistic. There are still plenty of things to get to grips with. You can get them moving around. I wouldn't quite say sort of sliding, but you can certainly have the back end of the car moving around as you push it through some of the corners. I think it's just a nice vehicle to go driving with. and you know, that we've got these kind of challenges. I think it is fascinating. Whoa, there we go. This opening section is always slightly weirdly shaped, and I'm finding that the back of the car is liking to go for a little bit of a spin. There we go. We're into this far section. At the moment in this tech demo, you're just racing against bots. I think you can hot lap on your own, or you can race against these sort of ghost bots, and that's fine. It's primarily just to show off the awesome track generation going on. There's a few different kind of environments for the tracks. This one here is more of a sort of deserty area. I think there's 3 different ones that I've come across. Again, I mean, I'm sure there'll be plenty. And the environment is kind of less of the main concern here when you've got to learn this track within a couple of laps. I'm hoping I can do a nice clean lap on this one. We're going to run wide through there. Nope, it is okay. Yeah, the bots are a tad easy at the moment. It doesn't really take, provided you don't fall off the road. I mean, if you fall off the road a couple of times, you can normally still get away with beating them. I do actually quite like the way they've got the racing line done on here as well. I mean, for a tech demo, this racing line is really quite impressive. There are a couple of times when it's a little bit off, when it'll tell you a braking point is far too late than it actually is with the car, and of course the normal. I just dipped a wheel on the gravel over there and it got angry with me. Of course, the normal thing, you know, it has the braking, so you brake a little early for the corner. That's normally what happens with a racing line in games, and I think that's about right. But yeah, this system of having the big red exclamation mark, this is where you brake, and then the green thing, this is where you should be aiming for the apex of the corner. I think it's actually quite a good system for this kind of thing. And again, for having the game constantly generating tracks, it does a really good job of telling you where to go and helping you out, especially when it comes up to some of the completely blind corners that you will come to. So yeah, this is one particular track that the game has generated. Not my favourite of tracks, perhaps, but yeah, again, just a new challenge, if you like. I'm going to go and generate another one, and we will see what I'm going to be driving next. So, for our next track, we've got, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Road Atlanta. Slightly different. We don't really have the same ridiculously long straight. Just looking at the mini map, you see we've gone from the desert area. This time we're now in a kind of more woodland area. We're going to have a little bit of a downhill section for this bit. Yeah, I really think that this is one of the most exciting almost racing games that I've come across in a while, just for such a cool idea. I think it looks really quite good as well. Again, I mean, this is still only a tech demo. I think it looks fantastic. Turn 1 here, I bet, would cause many an issue with such a long straight, and then we're coming down to such a sort of a slow stop, and then we've got these next corners. Are we going to be flat out through here? I had a little lift. I think the wing was scraping on the floor. We're not going to be flat out through there. Oh, we've got like a little tyre bridge going across. My main experience with the okay, I was going to say, it reminds me of the Tsukuba one, and then I remembered my main experience with the Tsukuba bridge was rolling cars through that particular section on Forza 4. We've got mainly flat tracks so far, and you get some of these, and then some of the other tracks I've had have been incredibly hilly. You're constantly going up and down. That's a nasty bump through that section. That's really quite a nasty bump, and then it drops away a little bit down here. Can we be flat out through this part? Yes, we can, just about. Oh, I like that section. That is a really nice section to drive through. One thing I do hope that this game has, I really hope there is a way of saving tracks. So if the game comes up with some fantastically elaborate, amazing circuits, that you can save it, so that you can run on those particular tracks if you particularly want to. Oh, we're across the curve. And the car's moving around. This one's a little bit of a... There's a lot more kind of straights in this one. A lot more flat out around the course of this particular lap. It's a very long main straight. It feels like a very long main straight on here. Right, onto the brakes into this horrible turn 1. Okay. Whoa, no, back up. It's like just a small little frame rate die on that. It's fine. Again, we'll excuse those sort of things with it just being a tech demo. Oh, we're across I was much quicker through there last time. I was bouncing on the curbs and we were going sideways, and now we've got an AI ghost car is going to drive straight through us. We're going to fight back, though. Yes, we can carry the speed. Don't do anything stupid through here like that. We bump the wall, just a small, tiny brush on the wall. And then we're flat out for a little while around here. I do like the long corners that it can come up with. I've had it come up with some fascinating, like 3-4 apexed corners that you're like constantly changing speed throughout them. Some crazy designs that it can come up with. Now, when we flat out around here, yeah, this may be one of my favourite sort of corners. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Malaysia. Oh god, I can't remember what turn number they are, but it reminds me of that little bit of Malaysia, the Malaysian Grand Prix circuit. What is it called? Is it Sepang? I think that. You know the circuit I mean. That kind of change of direction through there, really awesome. Oh, get it stopped. We slightly locked up the rear brakes. There is actually a whole sort of setup. Whoa, careful now. You can set the cars. I didn't mean to reset the bot. Which button is it? Is it not that? Ah, there we go. Okay, I lied. Sorry, it's the A button. Brings up this stuff, and you can change. Sort of, at the moment, you can change things on the fly. I'm sure. We'll have a whole proper setup menu and so on. There's all sorts of things. Oh, in fact, I haven't put my transmission back to manual. Silly me. Let's go through back here. There we go. Oh, it's semi-automatic. I'm doing this all while trying to drive as well. Probably not the cleverest idea. Oh, I don't want to exit the menu. Go back. A little bit fiddly at the moment. Doing this. I have to press the B button to change what I'm selecting, and then you have to hold B to select said thing. So it's a little bit fiddly, but again, I'm sure all of this stuff here will be optimized. I like this circuit. I much prefer this one to the previous one. There's a nicer flow to it. I mean, one thing you risk certainly with having a randomly generated tracks is that you end up with these kind of, oh god, that was pushing things. You don't get quite a nice flow through them because they're not specifically designed for in a certain way and whatever. But I haven't had a huge problem with really disjointed circuits. This one here, actually one of my favourites. I think I've driven. Admittedly, it is perhaps a tad too much flat out for my liking. But the risk is that they become a little disjointed. I mean, you can see this. Well, this circuit here, you go from these wide open bits, and again, like the previous one, you go from these wide open bits to the street circuit sections, essentially. And perhaps it'd be a little bit better off if maybe there was almost like a preset. So if a circuit was going to be a street circuit, it was mostly of those, rather than like if it was going to randomly generate ones with those bits in it, focused mainly on having the barriers close or mainly having the barriers out wide and so on. But also another thing that's just reminded me is that often you'll be running along a pitch straight and you'll be running on the edge of the road towards turn one, and suddenly the grass will appear. That's something that I have found, but again, this is only minor things that are very easily fixed, and I have no doubt will be. Yeah, I really like this circuit. I would like this bit here to be a little bit faster on this particular circuit, because I think it slightly ruins the flow through here. But yeah, this is just the random stuff that it comes up with. It's absolutely fantastic. I've got to go through that fast section one more time, and then we will generate a third track and see what it comes up with. I've done a silly thing. I have to try it at least once, driving like that. This bit here is that is a horrible bump that, whoa! I'm really throwing this car around. It's a nice car. I'm driving this on a 360 controller, by the way, for anyone interested. Yeah, you can really throw the cars around. Plenty of grip on them, and very good fun. Yeah, that is an absolutely phenomenal section. I really like that fast bit. Right, one more track. Let's see what the game has to offer next. And this is our third track. Actually looks like quite a simple, looks like almost a normal circuit. This looks like a fairly straightforward kind of a track. Perhaps not quite as fast in some places as previous ones. Oh, are we going to get a jump? Are we going to get some airtime over here? Come on, flying formula. No, not quite. There is enough downforce in this to keep it on the road. Not quite sure what the arrow's doing over there. Don't know why I would go to that part. Really long straight. Look at this. as we fly down here. Right. How fast do we get? Topping out 350 kilometers an hour. This is the first time actually I've had a first corner that isn't a complete 90-degree turn. Oopsie, I'm buzzing it in the limiter. My bad. Where are we stopping for this sort of? This is a peculiar. That is a strange. Yeah, because it kind of starts off really quite wide and then it gradually comes to a point. This looks like it could be really arsey or it could be really good fun. What are we going to be, game? RC or entertaining fun? Are we going to be... Oh, no, I like it. I like that. It's relatively quick. It's not quite a sort of a flat-out chicane there, but it's something you've got to sort of be aware of, to slow down for. As far as track length goes, this is actually looking like it's going to be about one of the shortest laps that I have, tracks that I've been given. They generally sit about the region of 1 minute 10 to 1 minute 50. That tends to be the sort of length of track, or the sort of lap time that we're getting out of these kind of things. Again, this is just a tech demo. We could see when the game comes around, there might be special categories specifically for much longer tracks or more endurance racing focus. I mean, this is a very short lap of the tracks that I've driven. I've improved my maximum speed apparently down towards turn 1. In fact, you can take that turn 1 a lot quicker than that. We could see perhaps specific categories and so on for longer circuits and kind of that. There's just so many possibilities with this game. It fills me with excitement. This one, I really do look forward to this particular game to see what they can come up with. One slight concern I would perhaps have with this is as much of a great idea as it is, I could imagine multiplayer lobbies with collisions could get a little bit chaotic with people not... I mean, you play Forza and people will have driven around most of the circuits or know the circuits, and they still cause big old crashes at the corners, let alone if you give people constantly new circuits. That is a small concern, but that's more to do with actual human being driver error rather than any fault of the game. Yeah, I could see that being a potential trouble hotspot, turn 1 especially, with some of the nasty stuff it could come up with. But aside from that, this looks absolutely fantastic. It's such an interesting concept. I'm amazed it's taken so long. I imagine it's incredibly difficult to get the game to randomly generate working tracks constantly, but I'm quite surprised that it's not something that hasn't been picked up and thought of doing beforehand. And this game does it, and again, we're talking about just a tech demo here. This does it really very, very well. Right, we'll go for one more lap. I like this circuit as well. This is really my kind of circuit. This may be one of... This one of the previous circuit, I think it's two of my favourite ones I've driven. I just happened to be filming at the time. It's always good. Right, attack the curbs. If I was... Oh, I've overshot that one. If I was building a track, I would probably have that as a faster chicane. Have it so you need to just have a little dab on the brakes and nothing more. But, that's just the nature of these random circuits. So, yeah, there we go. That is Racecraft. It is absolutely fantastic. I believe you can get a key for this. I'll have I should probably look before I recorded the video. There's a beta for this starting relatively soon. If you own Victory Age of Racing, a game I played a while ago, you get this game free, I believe. You can sign up for the beta for this and the tech demo, I believe, on their website. I'll put all the links to stuff in the description. Whoa, no, on the grass, get off the grass. I'll put all the links so you can go and find out about this game and support this game, because I really recommend that you should, because it's such a cool idea and it's so well done that, this is a lot of fun. And let's face it, what's better to someone who loves racing than pretty much endless possibilities of racing challenges? Yeah, it's... really rather cool. Right, we will go for one more lap. It's just too addicting to go for that one more lap, trying to get that little bit faster. Let's try and get through here. No, I've overcooked it again. I've not quite got that chicane right. I keep wanting to take a little bit more speed. I could be greedy and sort of jump across the curbs and jump across the corners, but no. I'm not going to do that. I'm not sure we're going to go for a particularly faster lap. This would be a tyre-killing corner around here. These sorts of speed lap after lap. Right, slow down there, and again, lots of load on these. The front left would hurt quite a lot around this circuit. And I think, because again, we're pretty much... I should be flat out through there. I just chickened out of that one. I don't think we're going to go quicker. Yeah, this is a cool circuit as well. Yeah, I really hope many people go and support this game, because it deserves it. It's such a great idea and really rather well executed. Anyway, that is it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.